I always thought that if people were rich, they should be extremely happy until I found out that in some businesses, all that money is making them unhappy.
That's true. Uh, so if you don't have it, you have problems. You have too much of it, you have problems.
There is a role for everyone. And you were talking about members of the family and warring siblings and power play. How would you explain equity versus equality?
Once your college, I give you 100 pesos allowance a day, and your brother who's in grade school, I give also 100 pesos a day. Is that fair? Right? So we go through that exercise, and then they end up saying, how can that be fair? I have more needs than the others, right? I buy more things, and then they understand there's a difference in what you mean by the meaning of fairness.
That is interesting. How do you program the mindset to go in that,
Correct.
especially
That
when
that's
age of the oldest to the youngest and the skills are so different? How do you program them to not envy each other? Because it has to do with values as well and resentments from, I'm involved in mental health in the workplace, in mental toughness and all attitude. Sometimes all of those resentments from years ago, it comes out.
it comes back. Yes, it does.
What do you do if one of the children turns out to really be quite incompetent? How?
See, and that's the thing. It's so hard to fire a family member. It's just difficult, right? So that's why, and you get into that situation when they feel entitled to work in the family business. So you set the rules straight, right? As they're growing up, you already tell them that you only if you're qualified. If you're interested, if you're qualified, then you work up work yourself up. Then that's how you get into the firm.
Aha,
Others will encourage them to work outside.
there you go. Therefore, I'm picking up from you that they get trained not when they're trying to get a job. They get trained as they're growing up because it's mindset.
Yes, yes, it's mindset. Those who were able to survive, it's the younger generation that was able to convince their parents that it's now my turn, or you give me more responsibility because this is the only way that will make us survive. So I suppose now in 2022, more of the family business may have delegated responsibilities to the younger generation.
Interesting. So it was kind of like what I hinted at earlier, right? If there are resentments from childhood, it is bound to come up.
It, it's I've dealt with a family who said, when I was 5 years old and you were 7, you did not lend me your gun.
Oh my.
And because of that, they were still, he carried the resentment all throughout. He never got over it. So it can be little arguments, things that you don't even think about anymore. And then the older one said, had I known, right, I would have done something about it.
Funny that you're talking about business, but so many emotions are tackled in the line of business you're in. I think you and I have we could be technically dancing to the same tune, right? I mean,
That's
it's
right.
and you know how I'm very much into communication can make or break any relationship, right? And
That's right. Yes.
I tell people even the tone of voice during meetings, the one with an
Mm-hmm.
inferiority complex that says, but mom, you're always screaming at me. And then the other one says, no, she screams at everyone. She's not screaming at
Yeah.
you. She screams at everyone. Little things like that, Ginny.
Yeah. Yeah. Each will have a role that they play, but this it times change. So what, if I'm Bida today, I might not be Bida tomorrow, and I have to be able to accept that.
Ah, I like that. If one is bida today, maybe not tomorrow. Well, yeah, I picked that up from you, right? Like one
Yeah.
sibling be CEO, and all of a sudden, the youngest one, whom he didn't want to listen to, becomes kind of a little boss because he's the one who digitalizes everything.
Yeah.
It would be nice to do
That's right.
something for families to understand that. Yeah,
Yeah, that actually applies not only because you're a big company, right? Whether you're a small business, medium size or large, it's the same. It's the same thing.
yeah, there you go. So before the lesson, when I met before pre-pandemic, the lesson I picked up from you was there's a role for everyone. And now the star might not be you with one sweep, right? You have COVID,
That's right.
you're not the star anymore. And it's now the time for another star to shine. So